And that's the most beautiful thing I've ever found. And so the closer you get to that, the more surrender, the more let go. It's just, there's more welcoming. Because there's also a curiosity of, wow, how far does this thing go? This is amazing.
But you see, like when I see you, and you're completely open, and there's and can feel everything so deeply, and you're not rattled by it. Does that become easier over time if you just keep allowing it, your ability to just feel so much?
Yeah, well, it's like, I guess you'd look at it a little bit like a boxer. When they first start learning and they're getting hit, it's like, oh my God, it's really rattling. It's really scary. You don't, right? But as they keep turning up to practice and they get a little bit better and get a little bit better, and they duck and weave, and they just, at some point they know exactly what the punch is going to feel like, how much it's going to hurt, how long it's going to last. And then at some point it's not even noticed. It's just, what's noticed is the opponent and just watching, and in this case surrendering instead of fighting. Does that make sense? So it goes from the impact to the art at some point. The art of surrender, the art of letting go, and the beauty of it. And this is, and that's when your true self, the awareness is now running the show. And there's going to be, you're going to feel things and not want to open them up. The awareness will be strong enough, and the art is there, the artistry of surrender. Or, in a boxer moving, the sweet science, they call it, takes over. And that's the fascination. That's the willingness. That's the softness, the love, the beauty is now in control. And historically, you learn, much like a boxer, if you go in with absolute pure intent and pristineness, the more beautiful it's going to be, and the more interesting it's going to be, and the better you're going to get at it. And it's just so there's a different loop sets up. I mean, and that bit I'm talking about there is the resistance aspects of yourself. The remaining I starts to soften to the process, understanding that it's opening and opening, opening, and each time it's done it, each time it's turned up to practice in this metaphor, it's the rewards have outweighed the punishment of getting a few hits from different angles you hadn't expected. That makes sense? So it's a positive feedback loop, but unlike boxing, you don't get brain damage. And the foe, the resistance within, the shadows within, they lose their enigma of being a great fighter at some point. They get revealed as a broken mechanism in desperation that doesn't have any power without your permission. It can only hurt you if you give it permission to. Does that make sense? And that's understood because it's awareness now. Awareness, it doesn't have those attributes. So then awareness, just all awareness is interested in, as far as the experience here, is looking for where there's tension and disharmony within the system and in the world, and just surrendering, letting go. And even the remaining I aspect can be somewhat interested in that too. There's enough wellness in the remaining eye, as in the eye is cleaning up and becoming, if the healing was to stop at that point, the eye would be in such a positive place that it doesn't want the illness inside anymore. So it would be functioning at a different level. You could say it would have happiness, a reasonable level of happiness. It's not interested in self-sabotage and harm and victimness anymore. It's gone up through the levels. So as I was saying, that's on board too. And then it's a very powerful combination, because that's the aspect of mind and the interactivity, the understanding of things, the navigation of what's a functional way to move and not a functional way to move is a hearty way forward. So the mind's still involved in negotiating the world, because it's going to keep throwing different things at you. Not in a monastery, and even if you were, there would still be some things coming your way. So the world's going to keep throwing stuff at you because you're in it. So the combination of mind and awareness, and at some point awareness can completely take over. But that taking over is actually returning back to truth, because truth was taken over by ignorance, in fact. Like a small child, our natural state in the world is playfulness, wonder, curiosity. But unlike a small child, we also have the understanding of what awareness is. Instead of just purely being in awareness, we understand what it is and what it isn't. And awareness, or big mind, big self, is now here, and the discovery is big self, or awareness is it's everything. But my awareness, the awareness that I'm experiencing here with you, is through these eyes here, and this, yeah. It's not it's not over there. It's only here. That there's no sense of separation. And that's the most beautiful thing I've ever found, by manyfold. And so the closer you get to that, the more surrender, the more let go. It's just there's more welcoming, because there's also a curiosity of, wow, how far does this thing go? This is amazing. Like from the viewpoint. So the answer is yes. It does get easier. On one aspect, but on another aspect is it can actually be more difficult too. Why? Because you're far more sensitive now. You're so raw and vulnerable, like you're saying, that it gets easier as you've entered the ring so many times and so many opponents that have come forth. But you feel more fragile. You're getting more and more sensitive, as if you're You're a hypersensitive boxer, yeah. So the world can feel more lumpy, and you're so raw and open. And people that haven't been doing the work can be quite yang and abrasive and forceful. And if you're in the world, you're rubbing on that a lot. You can tend to be quieter and retreat a bit more. And that's okay. It's all part of it. Because you don't have the desire to be in the middle of everything and look for social proof and attention and climbing pyramid structures of power and finances, all these different things. They become unimportant. To be win popularity contest becomes very, very, very uninteresting. Quite the weight. Because you're in so much beauty. There's no requirements from outside. The experience is blissful. And to go do all these things is basically forms of pain, desperation. So with all that in mind, I encourage you to just keep letting go and surrendering. Just trusting, yeah. It's a trust game now. Just trusting if I keep letting go, what I've just said to you is true, and test it. Test it, test it. Look back of what I've said to you in the past being true or not. Okay. Yes or no? Let's assume it's yes because you seem to be doing pretty good. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep trusting. And there might be tears, there might be sadness, there might be grief. It's all the residual history, the USB stick emptying, formatting the USB stick from all its pain. And every time you empty a little bit, being soaks deeper into your experience. The world shifts, the world keeps exposing itself as not as solid as it appeared. And unnecessary thought, just a pain, an ignorance, a suffering. There's incredible beauty in silence, and silence becomes a new language, internal silence. Not silence of words, but silence of mind. So it's the ultimate reward, isn't it? Like from a separation point of view, coming back, this is the ultimate reward, although it's the natural state. From any residual I remaining, it's the ultimate reward. So, yeah, surrender is the key.